welcome back to the Racing Mindcast, the show that helps athletes slow down their minds so they can race past their limits. I'm Chris Haig.
And I'm Morgan Bacon Davies.
And hello to all of our audio listeners, as well as to all of our YouTube subscribers. Welcome to another episode. Today we are going to cover, in the Racing Mindcast section, racing and getting into the racing mindset. I have a half marathon coming up next Saturday, so this will be coming out in the future, and so you will be getting this. I will have already finished my race, but as we record this, I've got a week from Saturday left, and we wanted to cover how can athletes get into a proper mindset leading into a race. Mm-hmm. Because in that last week of training, that's the last week that while physically you can't make any differences, you can make or break your mental aspect can make or break you.
You can psych yourself out.
Mm-hmm. So we want to give you some tips on how to avoid that. Yep. Then in the Bite or Bonk section, which I know is everyone's favorite section, we have a fit theme today.
Yes.
So
on the menu we have Richard Irvine's Fit Elite bar in the flavor cookie dough. And we have the Fit Joy bar in I think this is their newest flavor, the Grandma's Lemon Square. So,
I'm hoping to get Taste of Grandma. Mostly has laxatives in it. And then finally, we will finish up with the Year of Fear, and we will cover our two fears that are coming up in just a week's time. Mm-hmm. So these are the fears that we're going to be doing the week of September the 4th.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's launch straight into how to prepare mentally for a race. From an outsider's perspective.
Yes, dear.
When was, actually, I'll open up with this. When was the last time you had a race?
I think it was, I had a fun run. We were still dating.
Yeah.
Quite a while ago.
So this is, I think, 2014.
14, yeah, it was May of 2014.
No, it was 2013, because we met in 2014. We actually met in person in 2014. Yeah.
Yeah, because,
I was in Phoenix September.
Yeah, this was May, so
okay,
this was after, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I raced like a spring 10K, in 2014, I think it was, just for fun. And this was, as part of my recovery. So this was just to get back into running point blank. So I haven't raced competitively since high school.
I'm glad you brought up the fact that it was a fun run.
Yeah.
Going into a fun run mentally. And this is hard because it's 3 years after the fact, but how do you think a fun run compares to a competitive race?
It doesn't, because no matter what kind of a race it is, I always get butterflies.
So even with the fun run, you got butterflies?
It doesn't matter. I find
Talk to me more about that.
I have a really hard time keeping it low-key. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm competitive, I just find the race atmosphere quite anxiety-provoking. I think it's other people's anxiety I'm picking up on more than my own, because I just find it very contagious. But I just that, waiting for that gun to go off, no matter how many times I do it, I just get a really, acid stomach.
So how do you deal with that?
I just run. I just run away from it. Like, I've never developed a really good framework for how to deal with it, and I'd like to hear if you have, because I guess I never matured into an athlete that had that capability, because it was kind of cut short for me. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to know how what strategies you've developed.
Because I was the athlete, and I think a lot of our athletes can relate to this. I was the athlete who never, especially in high school, and until I wasn't able to do this until I got to college, I was never ever able to deliver in a race.
Oh, I see.
I was always a practice runner. Mm-hmm. So I would hit all of my PRs and best race, quote-unquote, races or times while I was in practice.
Yep, same.
And then I would crumble when it came to the race.
Yeah, it's like exams. Mm-hmm. The same, I'm a bad exam taker just as I'm a bad racer. And I hate to, give that, label to myself, but I've always found that it's been hard to, perform my best when it counts the most, which is stupid, but...
And I think in college, what switched for me when I became a competitor rather than a training practice racer was first, it was confidence. I think in cross country in college, I just developed because I wasn't the fastest one on the team, all the pressure was off, especially my freshman year.
Okay.
So there was no pressure.
Right.
And I was able to focus on how fun it was to be with my teammates, to be able to go out and race. I knew I wasn't going to get first place. I knew I would most likely get third or fourth, but all what mattered to me was beating my previous times from the previous
so you're
race.
Competing against yourself.
I was competing against myself, and I think that was the first thing, and that's the first thing I do now.
Yeah.
To make sure that I don't get psyched out before a race, is to disengage from everyone else, and to focus solely and race against myself.
Yep.
And I think that's the first step, is to stop comparing yourselves to others and start just racing for yourself.
I think that's kind of the centerpiece.
And also not only step away from winning a race, and more stepping into the fun of it and just the fun nature of just being able to compete, because that was the other switch that went off for me in college. These events were fun. I loved traveling with the team. I loved being with the team. I loved the atmosphere of the races, and especially with triathlon, that's what I really try to focus on. This is pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
And so going to step 2. So step 1 is to disengage from other people, and in that I turn off all social media the week of the race, and I don't look at previous races. So I did have a tendency of looking at past results to see where I can, and that's just a recipe for disaster.
Comparing yourself to anyone else is always a recipe for bad news.
Yeah. So stepping away from others, focusing on your own individual experience, and going deeper into that, I think you have to disengage yourself from the end result. And I think that takes the pressure. Non-attachment. I think that takes the pressure off, is saying, all right, who cares if I run a 2:30 marathon or a 4-hour marathon? Just finish. And also focus on the process things that got you there.
Yeah.
So realize, this is just a hard training day. It's a race. Yeah. But think about all of the benefits that come with a race. This is a catered training day. And it's not a race. Yes, there are other people doing it, but it's a closed course. You don't have to worry about carrying your own fluids. You don't have to worry any about that. It's just it's a training day with other people.
It's a fancy training.
It's a fancy training day. And moreover, you're able to use other people to your advantage, because you're not out there alone. Everyone's doing the same race, and I think you can turn that energy to your advantage.
And it's also motivating to see all the volunteers come out for you. Like, that it gives you an extra boost to practice gratitude again, going back to 2 episodes ago, to be grateful for the opportunity to be in the race at all, be grateful for the volunteers, and and just practice gratitude as you're racing really changes the focus and changes takes the spotlight off your expectations and puts it back on kind of big picture.
And not only gratitude for the volunteers, but also gratitude for being able to compete.
Yeah, gratitude for health.
For the environment, for the health, for being able to race. Because both of us have been in situations where, because of health reasons, we weren't able to race.
Yeah, we
having
were
that taken from either by injury or because of recovering from being too low weight.
Yeah.
Having the health to compete helps.
So every race is a celebration that you are in a place where you are physically able to do something, and it's a symbol of how far you've come. So taking it, reminding yourself that, just to get there means so much, that, just getting there is the tip of the iceberg of what you've been through. Because everyone at the start of a race has some kind of a story. So it's important that, these coming together, framework, these settings of a race, it's, it's a celebration. Like, everyone has come to that start line, and it's taken everyone a lot to get there for different reasons. And I think that's great.
You mentioned the word celebration. It's a celebration just for running.
Yeah.
Who cares about time?
It's a running party.
It's a running party. And you will never catch me running in a costume. With maybe the exception of my Superman socks with the flags, but
unless it's the Disney Marathon,
yes,
that is a bucket list.
That is for both of us.
Yes.
I want to do the the Dopey challenge. So the 5K, 10K, half marathon, all in the span of 4 days. I think that would be really cool.
Yes.
So that's number 2 is to disengage yourself from the time
and keep it in perspective. Yeah.
Because this is one day out of 365 days that you train.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go well, there will be many more days to come. Life still goes on. So who cares?
And for 99.9% of the people at those races, it's a leisure activity.
Yeah.
Like, remind yourself of that. You're doing this for fun.
I also think reminding, and this helps me, and this kind of shows my disorder, but reminding myself that regardless if I finish first or last, I still burn the calories. Oh, so that really does show my disorder. But, it's something I remind myself of.
Yeah.
I still ran the distance.
Silver lining of some kind.
Anyway, so number 2 is disengage yourself from that one race and from that one time and step back, not only with a sense of gratitude, but on the larger perspective of that race in context, that there will be more races to come, more opportunities to get that goal time that you want, and not worry about it.
And all you can do is your best, and if you know that you've done that, then that's all you can ask for.
And I think that leads into point 3 for me, is to remind myself that the training's done.
Yeah.
I cannot, right now, with a week and 2 days out, there's not much more I can do fitness-wise to get me closer to the end line. So doing fear training the week of it will lead you down to, it will lead you down to breaking down your body further and not being able to race more.
Yeah.
So you want to arrive on that line fresh, and it's better to arrive on that line fresh and somewhat undertrained rather than a little fitter, but broken down and not being able to deliver on that fitness.
You can't cram for a race. It's just not. Your body won't do it.
So in that, do short, sweet races the week of the race.
If you can.
If you can.
Right.
That boost your confidence, but don't wear you down. And that's where a coach can really help you. And my coaches in the past have really helped me put things in perspective so that I don't fear train. So they continually reminding me, go slow on this. You're only running fast for 2 minutes. In step 4, I think visualization during those workouts is important. So visualizing when you're doing those race pace segments the week of the race, getting in the mindset of this is what it's going to feel like on race day, and so that when you do arrive on race day, it just feels comfortable.
Yeah.
And then my last tip for the week, how to get into the right mindset for a race. What would be my last tip? I think, let's see here. I think just keeping things as normal as possible.
Yeah.
Just normalcy that first week. Is whether it's sleep time, eating wise, just keep it normal.
Yeah.
Don't make any abrupt changes. Just keep it normal.
Enough sleep.
And definitely make sure you get enough sleep.
If anything, focus on sleep. Because that is the same side, like the different side of the same coin.
Right.
Like if you're you can do as much training as will be to your benefit, but if you're not sleeping on the other side of that, then you're just going to be a mess.
And I think a bonus tip is to remind yourself of a greater purpose. So I was actually listening to a book on tape this morning, Peak Performance. I was listening to audio, and they were saying how the more you think about others and your overall purpose, so kind of dissolving the ego, the better you perform. So one story they said was a person who was hiking the Appalachian Trail. She had trained with her husband several years for this, and she was going for the time PR. And I think she wanted to break 50 days. This was back in 2011 before Meltzer and Jurek went after and got the records, but she wanted to be the first to break 50. And she got to, I think, day 3, and her husband was meeting up there to change out supplies and see how she was doing, and she's like, I can't continue. And her husband said, the hell you are, you're continuing. You don't realize how much I gave up for this, for our goals, for this team to succeed. You're going to succeed. We are going to succeed. We've trained for this. So taking it from I to we, or my overall purpose, I think helps performance. Yeah. So I actually experienced this in college, because it was not only for me and my times, but it was also the scoring of the team and helping out the team do better.
But how do you balance that pressure with, you know, not panicking? Like, how do you not let the pressure of the team make, like...
Because I know that my team, even if I messed up, my coach would still like me. They hopefully were mature enough to put it in perspective.
Right.
So I know at least with
not
my
a bad person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I race primarily for me, and then I also have a larger purpose. But I don't, when it comes to Les and her and Les and doing it for Les, that factors into it. But I know Les is going to be just as supportive after the race, regardless if I finish in 1:15 or 2:15 or 3:15.
Les, your coach.
This is Les. Yeah, this is Les, the coach. She'll still love me. I know you and Ethan will still love me.
Oh yes, my love is very conditional. On your race times.
And with my, or with my parents, I could drop a time and they wouldn't know what that would mean.
Yeah, exactly.
So who cares? Yeah. I could say, I finished a 5K in 4 hours. Well, that's great, Chris. I'm so glad you were out there. I'm so glad you did that. And they wouldn't care.
Ethan will still lick your face,
exactly,
even if you don't finish your race.
So taking that perspective helps and really contextualize it. So stepping outside yourself as much as possible.
And also distinguishing between, your performance and your self-worth.
Disassociating the two.
Yeah, because that is an important thing to say and to acknowledge to yourself out loud if need be, because it can get quite tied up in your identity, going back to athletic identity, and your self-worth.
Overall, and this is going to be our last point, I think every race should be approached like a fun run. Yeah. Every race should be a fun run. Yeah. Even the Boston Marathon or Kona. It's a fun run.
Especially those, because those are so momentous.
Yeah, it's fun to be a part of those.
Yeah. Just to what it means to get there, I think should be a party in itself.
So that's what we're going to leave you with.
Yes.
Make every race a fun run. Alrighty, let's get into part 2, Buy It or Bonk. And this is everyone's favorite section of the show, Buy It or Bonk. 5th edition. Which one do we want to start with?
Coincidency. Alright, I would say start with the Fit Elite.
Is he British or...?
He's the British guy from Restaurant Impossible.
Yeah.
The really buff chef.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder why he got into the protein bar industry.
I think because he's a bodybuilder. Like, he's the kind of British Arnold Schwarzenegger. Why can't I speak?
He's got a nice accent, though.
Yes, he does. So this is the cookie dough one. I think they have 2 other flavors, cookies and cream and birthday cake, but this is the only one we could find.
And it looks like
an eraser.
You know those blondie cookie mixes or brownie cookie mixes with the marbled top?
Nope.
It looks like that. It has the same type of
To me, it looks like a very dense eraser.
Smells like cookie dough, though.
Okay, so
feels like a dense eraser.
Nutrition facts. We have 180 calories for a 60-gram bar, 5 grams of fat, 24 grams of carbs, 15 grams of sugar, 2 sugars, 5 sugar alcohols, and 20 grams of protein.
So...
It smells very chocolatey.
It definitely has a texture of a eraser.
Yep.
Taste-wise, the chocolate overpowers it. No chips, though.
No chips, but no taste either.
I get a very
Erasery.
Erasery.
Won't dissolve.
Hints of chocolate stuck in your teeth.
It's like a
Restaurant Impossible. Bar Impossible.
Oh dear.
I'm so witty.
That was unnecessary.
I had to. But,
Wow. I'm on my first bite and it's still not going anywhere.
It's the old
It's
school
like
protein
gum.
bar.
It's like gum.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The gum that lasts for like 5 seconds of taste and then you get nothing.
Alright. I'm going to give that a 4. It tastes like carob, not cocoa.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. And the only reason why I'm giving it a 3.5 is because of the macros.
So,
Now the macros are slightly decent.
but it tastes like poop.
Yes, but I will give it 3.5 points for the macros by itself.
It tastes like poop, but the macros are good.
Yeah, the macros are good. It's an old school protein bar. It reminds me of like the original power
Well, I
power
think
bars.
emphasis on the word old.
Yeah.
It tastes old.
It tastes old. It tastes like it came out of the 90s. Like, this is what I would
Yeah.
have. This is something like I would have before I weightlifted in middle school.
Or an MRE kit.
Yeah.
Like, it tastes like something from a 1980s MRE kit.
So 3.5 for me, 4 for you.
4 because it doesn't have, like, the pea protein graininess.
This
That's
is-
the only reason why.
This is not a buy. This is a bonk.
There's your bonk.
This is a bonk.
Unless you like macros.
Unless you like your macros. But I think there are better bars out
If you
there
like
with
to
better macros.
suffer from your macros.
There are better bars out there for the
Okay,
macros.
hopefully this one will be better. This one, completely sea change. This is lemon.
Okay.
So
This is not only lemon, this is grandma's lemon.
Grandma's lemon square. I don't think I've ever had a lemon square, so I'm
Well, your
going in
grandmother was
blind.
Scottish, so it's
Yeah,
okay.
she didn't make lemon square. She made lemon meringue pie though.
She made shortbread.
Yeah, she made lemon meringue pie.
Haggis.
She never punished me with haggis.
My grandmother would make Rice Krispie treats. Homemade Rice Krispie treats. If you haven't had a homemade Rice Krispie treat, you are missing out.
You haven't lived.
You haven't lived.
All right.
But anyway, let's get back to the lemon square.
So nutritional facts:
It smells lemony.
220 calories for the bar, which is 62 grams.
Wait, how will you repeat that again?
220 calories for the bar,
Okay, so
which
higher.
is 62 grams
Okay.
for the whole bar. So it's slightly bigger bar. 7 grams of fat, 25 grams of carb, 11 grams of fiber, 5 sugars. They don't give you sugar alcohols, and 20 grams of protein. Smells lemony.
So, what Morgan takes to taste,
It's very soft.
it's got a dual layer, as I showed in the picture. You have a lemon layer up top, which is like the lemon that you usually have on a lemon square. And then you have a cookie
Drizzle.
based, but it's
No,
got
it
these.
doesn't have a cookie base. It has.
It has. Well, I'm saying it's supposed to be like the color. It's supposed to be like the cake. The cake base.
It's another protein bar layer that is colored like a cookie crumb base.
And slightly has slightly more bite than the top layer,
And really,
with a good lemon
I
drizzle.
think you're imagining this.
No, you can tell that there is 2 different textures here.
No, I just see different colors, but whatever. And it has a nice, appealing aesthetic drizzle on the top, and they dipped. I'm guessing it's white chocolate, but it's probably
It's vanilla.
vanilla.
It's vanilla, but it also has
Little crispy base.
little. I'm trying to figure out what they are though.
Probably pea crisps or soy crisps.
However, the overall lemon taste, I think it nailed. It's
Yeah.
definitely not cleaning solution.
It's
I
not
like the
Lysol.
texture. Macros are a little high for my liking.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Hmm.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
You're not being very generous today.
No, it's just.
I'm just happy it's not D's Naturals.
Yeah.
It's a little sweet, but not too bad. But it is on the sweeter side. So, seven
For the
and a half.
macros that it does have, for the taste that it does have, 7.
Okay, that's fair.
I would still rank
A
it a
B.
buy though.
A B.
I would give it a buy. Well, a B could be bonk or
No,
buy.
I meant the letter grade.
Oh, okay.
But yes, decent.
Alrighty, and that wraps up Buy It or Bonk. If you have any suggestions for what you'd like us to try out, let us know. We will try to get them in Canada. If not, send them to us.
Yeah.
But leave in the comments below or email us what you would like us to try. So I'm going to put that out as the challenge for the week, is let us know what we should review next. Alrighty, and on to part 3, the Year of Fear. Alright, part 3, the Year of Fear. So, as a recap, as we record this, your week currently, you are doing what?
I am trying quinoa 10 times because I hate quinoa and I'm giving it a fair shot. It's not that I'm really afraid of it, but I avoid it just because I think I don't like it, and so far I've been proven right.
Yeah.
But I will give a full report by the end of this week.
I tried your quinoa flakes.
Yes.
They smell and taste like soap.
They taste like grass to me.
It's soapy.
Like dirty grass, but maybe that's just, it's an acquired thing. I feel very unsophisticated for not liking it, but maybe this is just something I should accept about myself. Anyhow.
Your hipster scale is going down.
I know. I don't even drink wheatgrass. It's a shame. Anyway,
and I've given up adding stevia to coffee in drinks, with the one exception of I have a magnesium beverage that I drink every day, and you have to add stevia to that or you're not able to drink it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my one exception. So in coffee, tea, sparkling water, everything, no added stevia. Mm-hmm. If it's already in the product, like the protein bars or something, I'll have it, but I'm not adding it in. Mm-hmm. In that right there, it's been a very interesting experiment. Just the mental thoughts and also the physical cravings going on. It's interesting. So you'll have to read on Sunday. You'll have to read all about it.
Nice hook.
Because if you put stevia in coffee and you do it habitually, I think you will be interested to find what I found in this.
You're in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, I wouldn't say rude awakening.
I don't know. I would find coffee without any sweetener way too bitter, but maybe that's just me.
There are pros and cons, but you're going to have to read.
Do you find yourself reaching for it though? Like,
I've had to, because it's become such a habit. I've definitely caught myself
being
almost
like,
putting it in.
Oh.
Yeah, no, and
yeah.
Especially when I went to Starbucks the other day, I went back. Yeah, because I usually go to the bar because they've got the stevia packets there, and I, was right about to, flip the packets. I did the packet shake like I typically do, and then I'm like, wait a second, this counts as stevia, and then I put it back and went on my merry way, and it was actually quite a good coffee. The Americano that the people make at the Starbucks I usually go to is spot on, so it makes it bearable.
Sell
anyway,
out.
But you'll have to you go to our website braveheartcanada.com and check out all the findings there, because it was an interesting experiment.
Weekly reports.
Weekly reports.
Coming up
this week. What do you got going?
I'm going to be doing something that...
Oh, that's Ethan.
Hi, Ethan. Is going to be terrifying for me, and that is going to get frozen yogurt.
Froyo.
Froyo. Not because of how girly it sounds, just because it's mystery calories, by and large. Mm-hmm. Like, you can kind of guesstimate, but it's not, it's not on the label. It's not something that I can track accurately to the letter.
Unless you brought your scale with you.
Yeah, and I'm going to restrain myself from doing that, because that's tempting.
Mm-hmm.
So, barring that, I will not know exactly how much calories I'm going to be consuming, and that is terrifying to me. So that is a major one for me. And
you brought up, I think this is worth noting, kind of when we were talking back and forth about what we were going to bring up this week, and both of us had this reaction of when we have these food-based fears, we try to schedule it in around tough workouts and everything. And I'm myself am trying to move away from that.
Yeah.
It's been a real struggle though.
Yeah, like this
is
like
a very difficult struggle, because I was thinking about doing Froyo as well, or having ice cream Sunday. I'm like, I'll just do it after my race on Saturday.
Right.
Like, that kind of defeats the purpose of embracing the
fear
fear for me.
Yeah.
I rather get the fear done, even if it takes a hard workout beforehand. But I feel that compensation. Yeah. I think that I need to move beyond that fear.
It's a graduated fear.
Yeah.
Because I think you could take this fear to different levels. Like for me, my base fear is just getting Froyo, period.
And I think that's a good first step.
For me to be able to do that, I do need to do it on a day that I'm doing a workout, because I can cope with it.
Yeah.
The next step up would just be to go get Froyo coupled with going for a workout. That will be a step for me that I'll have to do in the future when I'm ready, because I'm not going to rush for my recovery, because I think that'll only lead to worse problems. But I think that is something to keep in the back of my head, that a future goal is to take that fear one step further.
So your fear plus.
Yeah, fear plus 2.0.
2.0.
And you?
My fear is going under 1 hour and 15 minutes in the half marathon next Saturday. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're saying. Well, that's not really a fear. How could that be a fear? Well, it is a fear. I'm not sure if I can do it. I am 90% sure that I'm able to race at that intensity. I haven't done it in a while, which is scary for me. I haven't run at that intensity, and I'm afraid of, all the what ifs in my mind. Are kind of whirling around when I think of 115, and this links back to the first part of the episode of disengaging from that 115. But it's a fear for me, because it's putting myself in an uncomfortable position, and this is what we brought up last week, is these fears, they can be typical fears, like watching a Stephen King horror film.
Yeah, touching a tarantula.
Those, how would you describe those? Phobias.
Yeah.
But they're also putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, or positions that you've never been in before. And that's where that 115 realm is. I've done it once before at a course that was short. So I haven't done it in a while, and I would like to get back there, and part of me is scared to get back there. Just being able to race at that intensity, it's scary.
Just a follow-up question. What if you reach that?
What if I get the 115?
Yeah. What then?
I think I've embraced my fear.
No, but what happens? Like, what secret, magical box is unlocked if you reach that 115?
Level 45!
Yeah, well, yeah, like, what is the motivation?
Pushing myself. I know that it's tough to get 115, so pushing myself to past that barrier, that's what's motivating me. It's because I would love to be able to feel that speed.
But
feel that intensity.
Are you linking your value to it?
No.
Will you kick yourself if you don't make it? Like, have you anticipated those kinds of... Yeah.
If I don't make 115, that's okay. There will be other races where I can do that, and that's fine. All I know is I've trained pretty hard for it. Training hasn't been perfect, but I've trained pretty hard. It's in spitting distance, just based off my workouts. And I think my overall goal for that race is to go out, have a fun race, enjoy the experience, and push myself to my limits. And if pushing myself to my limits and embracing that uncomfortableness of that intensity, if that gets me 120, it gets me 120.
So
if it gets me 115, it gets me 115.
Yeah. So it's embracing discomfort, which is the fear. Okay.
I'm putting myself in that uncomfortable place and saying, it's good that I'm here.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling this uncomfortable right now, I'm putting myself in the right place.
And I can get past it.
And I will survive. I'll finish the race. And as you just said, I'll get past it.
Cool.
So that mentally is a huge leap into the void, as the philosophers say. So that's...
Is that what they say?
That's what they do. Nietzsche said, into the void. I've been tucked away in a lab, I'm sorry, for too long. I've been reading scientific papers for most of the morning, so I'm kind of in that stint. Anywho, that's neither here nor there, but what is here and there is go to braveheartcanada.com, write in your comments for Buy It or Bonk. Tell us your fears. What is the numerical barrier that you are, or that goal that you feel is slightly out of your reach, but you can almost taste it? Write it in the comments below. If there is a fear food that is still a fear food for you, let us know. It helps. It helps to share. And with that, make sure you make sure you subscribe for our YouTube viewers. Make sure you leave a rating on iTunes. Give us a 5-star. If not, let us know what we can do to improve.
Yeah.
We are constantly trying to work to make this a viable project for you.
Constructive criticism.
Constructive
Please
criticism.
And thank you.
And let us know how you're doing. Love to hear back from our listeners. And with that, This week, don't forget to breathe.